Welcome to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Sison, and my co-host for this season 2, Hayley Hudson. This podcast is for self-employed business owners just like you who really want to grow their business and become successful and profitable and without all the stress and hassle. We want to share over 50 years of our business experience to show you how simple it can be to earn more money and how you can get organised without needing a business degree or any other qualification. We'll be talking about the easy steps that you can put in place right now to start earning more money today and to help you get the business that you deserve and dream of. So without further ado, let's get started. This week's podcast is sponsored by Pocket PA, helping self-employed business owners to get organised, understand their finances and do their accounts all in one place using a powerful online tool. If you're serious about making a profit and having a successful business, then using a simple digital app like Pocket PA is the best way to grow and scale your business. Visit pocketpa.com for more details and start managing your money like a pro today. Hello and welcome back to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Sison, and my co-host, Hayley Hudson. Hi, Hayley.
Hi, Caro. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we are here for our second week of season 2. Last week it was great because we did a bit of a getting to know you session. And this week we are going to jump straight in. I already feel sweaty palms. Starting a business always makes people feel a bit anxious and scary. So we're going to cover today 5 essential topics for small self-employed business owners to help them get some insights, to just sort of give them some heads up on minimizing the risks and maximizing their opportunity for success. And we've identified, I think, 5 things which we're going to talk today about for small business owners. And the first thing is going to be understanding the legal requirements when you get set up. Secondly, we're going to be talking about insurance needs. We're going to cover systems and processes, which are the bedrock and the foundation for any small business owner. And then we're going to talk about being compliant with tax regulations. And then we're going to touch on managing your finances effectively. Now, obviously, there are loads of other things relating to your business outside of these 5, but we've chosen 5 today to cover off because I think that's plenty for anyone to be listening to, because I know some of these do make people feel anxious. And the first one that we're going to talk about is understanding your legal requirements when you get set up. Now, obviously, Hayley and I, we're based in the UK, so we're going to be talking about things if you're listening from abroad and you're global, fantastic. But just be mindful that we're talking specifically about the UK. So when you set up a business, there are 2 main ways that you can do it when you get started. You can either be a sole trader or you can be a limited company. Now, for your very specific advice, you will need to speak to your own accountant for it. But we're going to just talk in broad brush terms here today about the difference between a sole trader and a limited company. So, Hayley, what do you want to start off with talking about those 2 different aspects of how you might trade?
Wow, I think the big thing for me is I see so many people who come to me who are still operating as a sole trader when their business has passed a certain point. So I think the most important for me is start with the end in mind. When you're thinking about this, it can be easier just to be a sole trader because it saves money to register, which it does. There is a little bit that comes along with being a limited company. So the 2 differences between a sole trader and a limited company, so that the listeners can understand, is as a sole trader, you are trading as a sole independent person. You're going about your business and you hold all of the liability. As a company director and a limited company, you then become an employee of your company. So you're no longer a single entity. You can eventually have employees if you want to, but you are considered an employee of your company. You're still self-employed, but you're an employee of that company. It's a bigger, larger organization, and it's set up for different things. So this is where you need to talk to your accountant because there are pros and cons with both.
So my thoughts on this are that it's absolutely fine to just get started. So if you need to get going as a sole trader, I think it's important that you don't spend too much time procrastinating and deliberating and overthinking whether you should be a limited company or a sole trader. I think for most people, you'll often get started as a sole trader and then you will take some advice depending on how your first year is going, and you will speak to your accountant, and it may well be that you transition into becoming a limited company if things seem to be growing very fast. However, many people do stay being a sole trader for years and years and years and actually enjoy the benefits of being a sole trader without all of the extra legal additional responsibilities, I think, of being a limited company. Because when you are a limited company, you are a director and an employee of your company. So it can be more expensive to register. You have to do your accounts at a more official level, which costs more to do each year. And it can be more tax efficient. But certainly for the majority of people that I help with Pocket PA, they are under the VAT threshold, which is 85,000 in the UK, going up to 90,000 shortly. So as long as they're under 90,000, they don't have any staff, any PAYE employees, they will make a very good living day to day, being a self-employed sole trader. But as I say, if you want to become a limited company, have a chat with your accountant, somebody that has got a bit more insight into knowing your specific circumstances, because it doesn't need to be complicated and scary. Does that sort of summarize things, Hayley, do you think, or is there anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing is that you don't overcomplicate it and you can change at any point in time. I think the main thing to discuss with your accountant is the tax efficiencies of both situations and also the liability, whether you want to hold the liability and solely be responsible or whether you want to hold that liability in a company. So for say you own your own home and things like that, there's something that you want to talk to your accountant with in terms of when you're operating your business. But as both Caro and I have said, speak to your accountant because advice will differ from person to person. But the main thing is don't overthink it and just get started.
I know for a lot of people who are thinking about needing a mortgage, you can get a mortgage with a mortgage broker, whether you're self-employed and a sole trader or you have a limited company. So don't feel that you have to be a limited company in order to get onto the housing ladder. It's definitely not necessary. My own son bought a house last year and he wasn't a limited company and he had a couple of years of sets of accounts and he was able to get a mortgage perfectly easily by speaking with the accountant and submitting end of year accounts. So don't feel that you have to be bigger than perhaps you feel comfortable being. And as Hayley said, it's not complicated and it's not scary once you start looking into it. So those are the two sort of legal entities, whether you're a sole trader or whether you're a limited company. And you will need to register with HMRC so that you have something called a UTR, your unique tax reference number, whether that's with a limited company or as a sole trader. So once you've actually set up your business entity, you might have chosen your name. You will need to have a unique name. You can't be trading as somebody else's name. So if there is another person, especially locally, trading exactly the same as you with that name, you're going to need to call yourself something unique and so people recognize you. But the next thing that you need to be aware of are your insurance needs. And I think insurance is one of those things that you sometimes don't realize you need it until it's too late. So don't be that person. It's very important. If you are delivering a service and you're certainly putting your hands on anybody or you're doing anything with someone with your service, it's very important that you are covered by insurance. And there are lots of different options and coverages. So Hayley, talk us through some of the different insurances which you might need as a service provider being self-employed.
The number one point is get insurance. Like Caro said already, the minute you think you're going to be touching somebody or delivering a service to somebody, you must get insurance. Do not even practice for a day without it. And if you're listening to this and you haven't got it, please go and call somebody and go and get some insurance set up. It's actually quite inexpensive for a lot of services as well. So when I've spoken to a lot of therapists in the past who have been a little bit nervous about getting insurance, it's turned out to be really, really inexpensive. So please just go and get that. So you've got your public liability insurance, which is your indemnity so that you can go and deliver your service. And this will cover you to a certain amount. Often, I think it's either 1 million or 5 million. You can have different numbers of how much you are covered up to if someone makes a claim against you, depending obviously on the size of your company and the services you're delivering. You want to make sure that you get a cover that is suitable for your needs. If you do think about ever employing somebody, whether that's be a bookkeeper or someone, if they're not freelance, you might need to have something in there that has employer liability. For a lot of our people who are listening, they won't need that. So just speak to the people when you are buying your insurance just to see what it covers. You will definitely need to make sure that it covers against claims from your clients. A lot of policies include covering your your not your materials, but your couch, if you're a beauty therapist, all the things that you use to operate your business. So your furniture, depends what your premises is like. So you need to speak to somebody who specifically works with insurance. So whether you're a freelancer and you're renting chairs, your insurance will be different to somebody who's got a studio in the garden, or for somebody who's renting a space within a building. So you just need to make sure that you're speaking to the right people and you get something that matches what you need it for, to cover against if you get loss, theft, or damage, essentially, because you don't want to have to be paying for that out of your own pocket.
And I think a lot of the trade associations, so whether you're an electrician or you're in beauty and wellness industry, the trade bodies that your profession will be associated with will have very niche specific insurance tailored to what your requirements are. So always have a look through your industry magazines and see who's advertising that you could speak to get a tailored policy, because there will often be better rates. There might be discounts if you're going through a magazine, and you can often get very competitive quotes. And as Hayley said, it is very cost effective. You do not want to be balancing any liability and be thinking that you may have to be paying for it out of your own finances, because if somebody has to make a claim because something doesn't go according to plan, insurance can take all and do all that heavy lifting for you and gives you that peace of mind. So that's the point of insurance. People understand how car insurance works, and I know that there are people on the road without car insurance, and when something goes wrong, it's drastic. But you do not want to be doing that in your business. You want to be operating professionally. You want to have credibility. You need to be doing things. This is a grown-up adulting thing that you're needing to do, and insurance is part of that. So just like you need to decide how you're going to set your business up, whether you're going to be a sole trader or a limited company, the next thing is to ask yourself what insurances you're going to need. And as Hayley said, you're going to be needing this public liability. If you are taking anybody else on to work underneath you, then you would need this employer liability. But you need to be covered to make sure that if something were to go wrong, this is why they're called accidents, because you're not expecting something to happen, that you are covered to protect yourself and your client. So the next thing that we're going to cover off is about your systems and your processes. Now, when you work by yourself, a lot of things can seem really overwhelming, and it's important that you think about these systems and processes right from the get-go, because when you've got a lot of time on your hands, perhaps when you're just getting started and you don't have many clients, it seems like you have an awful lot of time to do all of these things, but things can snowball quite quickly. And once you start to get a client base and you have people that are booking in and you're busy doing all the doing stuff inside your business, if you don't set out these bedrock, these foundational systems and processes in your business as you mean to go on, it can very quickly become overwhelming. So don't underestimate the importance of establishing efficient systems and processes to streamline your business operations right from the get-go. And this was one of the main reasons that I made Pocket PA, was to make sure that all of those systems and processes were central to operating your business. So Pocket PA is like your online digital HQ, your hub, your center point where you go to for all of your clients, all of your appointments, all of your billing, and all of your income and your expense tracking. So I absolutely love systems and processes, and I really see the benefit of them. But sometimes people are a little less organized and they don't actually realize the benefits of having a really good system in place until they feel so overwhelmed, and then they're often not quite sure where to start. Hayley, what's your experience of systems and processes? How have they sort of featured in your journey of running your businesses?
To be honest, I've always been pretty good with my systems and processes. And I think that's what set me apart from other businesses, to be totally honest with you. I've always been the sort of person who would just, log everything down, step-by-step guide of how I want to deal with things. And I think it really helps you to be boundaried as well within business. If you've got a clear step-by-step guide of what you are prepared to do and not prepared to do, and how you go about things in your business. So I think there's a lot of people that don't actually even understand what systems and processes are. And it's essentially just writing down what you do and how you do it about everything in your business. So that could be how you deliver a haircut, how someone would book in online with you, how somebody would, make an appointment with you in person, or, you break down everything, or how you deal with a cancellation, how you deal with skin testing. that kind of thing. So literally everything that you have to do, how you clean your space. If you put a system in place for lots of different things, then every time you come up against a hurdle, you know how to deal with it. So like if someone rings up and says, Hayley, I can't make my appointment tomorrow, you've got your cancellation policy. You know if it's a 72-hour policy, you know if you take booking fees or not, you know how much the booking fee would be if you are going to take a booking fee from somebody, and you've got a clear guideline and blueprint of how you do everything. So systems and processes are amazing. So for me, I think the number one you need is your cancellation policy. That's really good. Cancellation policy, color safe policy, how you go about delivering your skin test, especially if you're a hairdresser or a beauty therapist, if you have to do any skin tests or patch tests, because that links with your insurance and your legal requirements. How do you do that? How do you deliver that? So if ever anyone brings a claim against you, you can say, well, here's my policy. This is how I deal with this. I've followed the step by step. I'm covered. Refund policy. What happens if somebody doesn't like a treatment? When should they notify you? How are you going to deal with it? When would you respond? Where are you going to display that? Is that going to be on your website? Are you going to have a website? You know, all these little things, it just helps you to run your business more effectively rather than, as you've said before, get caught on the spot and you haven't got a clue how to answer somebody's question. So, just go through your business step by step from the minute somebody comes into contact with your business, how they find you, how you deliver the service, and how they exit your business premises or where you deliver the service. And the interim after that, if they've got a complaint, how do you deal with every single thing? Some people call it the client journey. So have a look at your client journey and go through it systematically and decide what it is that you do at each step of the process and service.
Yes. And so Pocket PA, the idea of Pocket PA, that is your actual framework where you can hang a lot of those things off it. So it is your central hub to have all of your client database. So it's important that you have all of these things organized and documented and a flow, and you're able to sort of get your fingers and hands on this information at the click of a finger. Because if your client calls up and they wants to know whether they've paid their deposit or when their last appointment was, if you've got everything in a paper diary or something on scraps of paper, or you're just tracking things on your phone ad hoc, it's very difficult to find that information quickly. It's difficult to come across as seeming super professional, and for you to actually feel that you're in control of your business, or is your business sort of just out of control and you haven't got any structure and organization. So choosing the actual tools that you're going to use in your business to actually document and track all of the different systems and processes. That was the reason that I made Pocket PA, to make something very clear and simple so that at a glance you can actually see super easily how much money is left for you, because you're tracking your income and your expenses on a daily basis. And by doing these things, the little and often things, by doing them each and every day, the magic is in the mundane. I always say you can't manage what you don't measure. So if you're not inputting and tracking all of the income and the expenses in your business, how can you possibly expect to know how well your business is doing, what money is left for you? But a lot of people, particularly when they work for themselves, if they are neurodivergent, they're often feel a little bit overwhelmed with the numbers and that sort of thing. So the idea is that with Pocket PA, you become a data enterer. You don't need to wade through piles of spreadsheets. You don't need to pore over your bank statements ongoing, because you just track each and every day. Whenever you receive a payment, whether it's a deposit or a payment in full, whenever you spend any money on your business, like a business cost or an expense, you track each of those things ongoing, and they only take sort of 2 to 5 minutes each day if you keep on top of them. You don't need to store them all up to do at the end of the week or the month when it does seem overwhelming and you're wanting to get out at the weekend, and instead you've got to wade through your receipts, and that's not much fun. But just do these things as you go along, and by having a really easy, simple tool like Pocket PA that's always with you on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, it makes it super simple. It's your go-to place that you go to track all of these things. Whenever a client changes their appointment or they put a new appointment in, just pop it straight into the Pocket PA diary, and straight away that amount that they're going to be delivering for that service will go onto your income dial. So it's already tracking in advance so that you're going to know how much you're going to be earning. And one of the things that I really feel is important when we work by ourselves, for ourselves, we often feel so overwhelmed that it's difficult and look through those bank statements and work out where you are financially. But Pocket PA does everything in color, because I think business always looks better in color. We have an income dial where you've got your outgoings in red, your income in green. And I just say make the red as small as possible and your business will be doing really well. Make the green as big as possible and you'll have a healthy profit going on in your business. So looking at your systems and your processes, how are you going to track all of your information in your business? Because, as I say, you can't manage what you don't measure. Things like business mileage tracking. A lot of people that are self-employed, they drive between their jobs. They might be a mobile therapist or whatever. And a lot of people don't have a system in place for tracking their business mileage. Pocket PA has an inbuilt mileage tracker, and you can do it in real time, and it actually navigates the directions to where you're going to be going. And a lot of people don't bother tracking their business mileage because it's such a faff. Who wants to be looking at the postcode, where you're going? Where are you leaving from? How do you know, work out that it's 4.7 miles and that you can actually claim £2.22 or whatever the amount is? So they don't bother doing it. They're leaving money on the table. But when you start your business, start treating your business as a business right from day one. Don't sort of transition from this hobby. Oh, it's sort of, yeah, it's kind of my side hustle and it's getting bigger. Start treating it as a business right from day one. Put that message out to the universe that you're going to be professional. And I think that you will start handling and behaving with your money the way that you mean to go on. And when the universe sees that you can handle small amounts of money, it will automatically start giving you bigger amounts of money because you'll be feeling in control and able to start growing your business. What are your thoughts on that, Hayley?
A lot of people are terrified of investing in a software. And I think that always not frightens me. I always think, why? What's wrong with you? Why would you want to be faffing around with a pen and paper in 2024? I mean, what's wrong with you? I think for you to be serious about your business, you have to invest in it. And if you have to pay a small amount every month so that you've got a software like yours, I mean, your software is fantastic. And I have to say, the mileage tracking thing is brilliant. Honestly, it is fantastic. It's the best one I've seen out of all of the softwares because, in fact, I don't think I've ever seen a software that has the mileage tracker. I don't know if is that completely unique to you?
No, there are other mileage trackers available out there, but the fact that when I see something in another software rather than just integrating in with it, I just thought, well, let's build it inside Pocket PA so that it's all in one place. Because this is the thing, when you're working by yourself for yourself, you often feel so overwhelmed having multiple logins to multiple different apps. That was one of the things I was trying to avoid for Megan when she got started. So I wanted to make it an end-to-end solution that had all of the major things, your clients, your appointments, your billing and your accounts, all of those major pillars and foundations of your business all in one place. So you just log in, one password, one username, and then all of the dots are joined up. But people forget what the practical things are. And I think that it's just really important that we're mindful, because we are so busy just seeing our clients, but we're mindful of the small things, because those small things become the big things. They don't seem very much on a day-to-day basis, but it's really important that you are focusing on the minutiae, because you're the only person that's doing it. It's your business. So the responsibility and the buck stops with you. And you're a firm believer, just like me, in what you measure will grow. Where we focus our attention, it will start to expand. So yeah, I think tracking things and having systems in place to plan. I mean, automation as well, leveraging. We'll talk about more over the following weeks about how you leverage yourself and your time, but being able to automate various tasks within your business, because there is only one of you. What if you could do something that you routinely have to do, which is blooming boring most of the time? What if you could automate it, like sending reminder messages out to your clients instead of spending your evenings and weekends, copying and pasting reminder messages for your clients? What if you had an automated system that automatically sent it out 2 days before your appointment date so that your clients always remember, just like the doctors and the dentists send those reminder messages out? When you work for yourself, you're nervous about costs. I totally get that. And, to address your point, why don't people automatically invest in themselves and take a system? I know the answer to that is because people think that they're so small, they can't afford to, they're being cost effective, they're saving themselves those pennies. But actually, it's often a false economy, because the amount that they will be able to save in time and their energy and effort of actually having a system that's really robust and in place, it's a no-brainer. And Pocket PA is so affordable, literally less than the price of a cup of coffee every single week. I feel like I'm doing a sales pitch here now, but I'm totally not, because there are other systems available. But I think it's just the importance of a robust system that is suitable for your type of business. It's difficult to put a price on that.
Yours is very robust, though. I think the point that I was making before is I've seen the mileage tracker, but I've never seen it in a hairdressing software or a beauty software specifically for our industry that encompasses it so well. I've seen it in action, and it's brilliant. All of the different elements, and like I say, I've used it. My husband uses this actually in his business, and it's fantastic. And just seeing his little eyes light up the other day, he tracked his mileage from job to job, and it was so much more than he thought. And also, I'll tell you another little bonus. So here we are. I'm gonna like dumb down on the sales pitch on this one now, because like I say, I've been in this industry for over 20 years, and I have used a lot of software for being operate small enterprises and large enterprises. And I would definitely say, so he went to somewhere in Nottingham, and the route to get to the job was a lot shorter than the route coming back because of the one-way system around the centre. And there was like a 12-mile difference. And obviously that really added up. So that was it. He's totally sold now. That's it. He's a Pocket PA guy.
I love
He's
that.
part of the Pocket PA
He's one of
crew.
my blue
Yeah, he's your
users.
blue user.
I love that.
Honestly, and I
Yeah.
honestly, it's taken me so long to get him into the 21st century with his business. So yeah, so that's a little bit of a personal share there, but honestly, it is fantastic. And I think the mileage is a game changer for anybody.
But I think a lot of people are technophobes, aren't they? And they feel, oh no, I want a paper diary and stuff, something that I can physically touch and see. There are so many digital systems out there now which are all cloud-based, so nothing ever gets lost. They're all protected with a password, and they are secure. And just the accessibility, being able to have something on your phone the whole time, or on your tablet, or on your computer. Nobody's ever without their phone, are they? Nobody's ever without Wi-Fi or 4G or whatever it is that they need to access these things. So it's really important that you think about these things when you're getting started. What are your systems? What are the processes that you're going to be setting up, which will be your bedrock, your foundation for running your business and enabling you to scale and grow, make more money, to be able to spend more time with your clients and with your family at weekends and evenings and stuff, by getting these robust systems and processes in place. I really can't overemphasize enough how important the systems and processes part of your business is going to be for you.
It saves you so much time. Like when I started, I had my little book and my little paper book. I had my paper diary and I had my paper book and tracking all my income and stuff. And there wasn't the options that there are now. And I just want to urge anyone who's sitting there out on the fence, whether it's Pocket PA or anything else, go and have a look at different systems, because they are so inexpensive. As you said, it's less than the cost of coffee. We all go out now and spend a fiver on a coffee and think nothing of it. It's ridiculous, really. And it just saves you so much time. You don't need to learn some of these things. You actually have software now that is so comprehensive. You don't have to fully understand your accounts. Instead of spending that time learning how to log your receipts or whatever, just get a complete system that does it for you. You can learn then as you're going along, rather than a lot of people use that as sort of procrastinating learning. I can't start my business, or I can't move forward in my business until I've learned this or until I've learned that. Just get something for a few pounds a month, does it all for you, and you can learn much easier as you go. And it just gets you into best practice, as you've said, in your system. Just make the green bigger, the red smaller. How easy is that? You don't have to think about your profit and loss. I mean, you are, because obviously your profit's green, your loss is red. But it's such simpler language nowadays. It's such a better time to start business. I can't think of anything, better than starting business now, or, gosh, the things that we used to have to do years ago. I sound like a grandma, don't I? With all my books and lists.
Makes us sound really old. It's so important that we do utilize modern technology in our favor, because when there is only one of us, we have a finite amount of hours in our day. We only have a finite amount of energy, and we want to be utilizing it and working smarter and not harder. So one of the things, as I say, is to have a really good system and process in place. So number 4 on our list of getting started and set up was being compliant with tax regulations. So whatever happens, if you're going to be starting to run a business, there is going to be a D-Day where you're going to have to do your tax return. That's as As sure as bananas are yellow, you are going to need to do them at the end of the tax year. So it's important that you're aware of the dates and those sorts of things. So we've got the 31st of January. That's when you need to get all of your accounts ready for. And the tax year will run from the 6th of April until the 5th of April the following year. And there are two dates that you'll need to pay your tax if you're self-employed, which is the 31st of January, and then a second payment on account on the 31st of July. So there are two tax dates, the 31st of January, the 31st of July, and then the tax year for self-employed sole traders runs from the 6th of April until the 5th of April each year. Now, you do need to register with HMRC, and I know that tax time can be scary. And again, another feature that we put into Pocket PA, when we're measuring your income and your profit, we've put in something called a tax estimator tool, which calculates an approximate amount for you to put aside in order for you to have that money for the tax time. Because just like Christmas comes around every year on the 25th of December, so your tax bill will also come around every single year. You need to be ready. If you aren't ready and prepared and you can't pay that money, then it's not going to give you longevity of your business. You're not going to be able to stay trading for a good long while because you have to pay tax. And I can't stress enough how important it is to make provision for it. And I know, Hayley, you recommend separate pots and putting that money aside on a regular basis, which is exactly what I do as well. And, you know, if you can't afford to put it aside, then something in your business isn't working because you are spending more than you are actually making if you can't put aside that money. Anything to add on that point? Because the tax is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it. If you can't afford to put your tax in and you're having to live on your tax money and take it back out of your pots, then you need to take a long look at your business. You know, you can't just operate a business without paying tax. It's just as simple as that. There's no other words for it. You know, if you can't put the tax away at the time, you're going to get a big bill at the end of the year. And if you can't pay that big bill, you're going to end up in debt. And then another bill's going to come and another bill. You know, I have met people who have been in huge debt with the HMRC, and even with your national insurance contributions, you know, it's a very small amount that you'll pay every week. Pay it as it goes along, pay the small amount as it goes along, or put it away. Either have things set up on direct debits, just put it away so you can't see it. That is not your money. I think the thing to get into your head about this is it is not your money. It's not the money that the HMRC are taking off you. You are collecting that money for the HMRC. You know, just put it away. And the good thing about as well, just to add, every receipt that you track, every expense that you track is bringing that bill down. So if you don't like paying the tax man, who does, keep your receipts, track your outgoings, keep, you know, don't go to the shop and lose that receipt. Take a picture of it, pop it in, and it's done. Forget about it because that brings down your tax liability. But my advice would be to, even if you are bringing down your tax liability, still put the standard amount away. I personally put a flat amount every week away in my business, or a flat percentage. I've got a few businesses, so I do a few different things with different ones. But I know in your system you have the estimator, which is a percentage, I would assume, of what's been taken in. And I think that's really, really great. Just put that flat amount in and just don't let that fluctuate. So say you've spent a lot one week and think, oh, I won't put as much tax away this week because I've spent loads, so I don't need to. Don't do that. Just stop yourself. Put the set amount away every single week. And then at the end of the year, when you get your tax bill, instead of you going, oh God, I haven't got enough, you will actually also have some savings. Because if you've put the flat amount away, say flat 20% or whatever, 30%, some people do, put it away, you'll always have some savings. You'll always have more there.
And I think that's the big thing when you move from being employed to being self-employed. It might seem like you have loads of extra money, but that's because you perhaps haven't taken into account that element and that percentage of tax. So don't be fooled into thinking, oh my God, I've got all this money. No wonder it's being amazing being self-employed. When you are employed, it's always taken at source. So you don't ever see it and you just get left after your paycheck and all the deductions have been given. So that can sometimes seem like quite an exciting first step that you've got all this money. But then when tax time comes, a percentage will need to be allocated to be paying that tax. And that takes us on nicely to the last part of it, which is managing your finances effectively. Now, inside Pocket PA, as I say, you become a data entry. It takes less than a minute to track an income or an expense. And this is the important part that you're needing to do on a regular basis. Firstly, I think you should definitely always set up a separate business bank account so that you've got all of your business finances ring fenced. That's really important. A lot of people I see when they get started, even when they're sole traders, are mixing all their personal and business finances. That does add an extra layer of complication. So do set up a separate business account for your business finances, and then make sure that you are doing this regular bookkeeping. And as I say, with Pocket PA, it takes less than a minute to add an income, less than a minute to put in an expense. And if you do that on a regular basis, you are going to be so well equipped at the end of the year when your accountant says that they want to have a look at all of your income and your expenses. You've snapped photos of your receipts, it's all stored on the cloud, you've got things all color coded and categorized, and you've got every income and every expense transaction. That's all you need. When the accountant asks for your accounts, you just need to give them a list of everything that you've taken as your income, everything that you've spent on your business. They're just two spreadsheets, and it's a click of two buttons. You haven't needed to be putting into multiple spreadsheets and opening Excel every week to put all of these things. You literally become a data enterer in Pocket PA, because accounts is no more complicated than what have I spent and what have I brought in. And then the accountant will work their magic and be able to do your accounts at the end of the year. So do get into these good habits. And I think it's really important that you are tracking things on a regular basis, and you have systems and processes in place that you feel confident about using, which will enable you to actually not stress and have 2 to 3 weeks of worry at the end of tax time. So those are our 5 essential things. Is there anything you wanted to add on to the sort of managing your finances effectively?
Just keep it simple and don't overcomplicate it. As you've said, it's what's coming in, what's going out.
Yeah.
Keep always put a percentage away for your tax, and I always put a percentage away as well for the what might happen, my emergency funds. So say you need repairs or you need new equipment,
Rainy
rainy
day
day
money.
money. I think that's, and once you've got that sorted, the rest is yours.
Fabulous. Lovely. So I think we've covered our 5 sort of topics for starting your self-employed business. We've gone through the legal requirements. We've talked about your insurance needs, the systems and processes, compliance with tax regulations, and managing your finances. So I hope you've enjoyed the podcast today. We're going to be back again next week. You're here with me, Carrie Syson, and Hayley Hudson. Have a great week, whatever it is you're doing, and we will see you again very soon. Thank you so much for listening today to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Carrie Syson, and my co-host, Hayley Hudson. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then do hit subscribe so we can catch up again soon. And please kindly leave a review if you've got a moment, and share with anyone else that you think this podcast could help on their self-employed journey. If you're ready to make bigger breakthroughs in your business life and want to get way more organised and understand your finances the really simple way, then start your very own 14-day free trial today using the super powerful software tool Pocket PA that I made for my own son and daughter. Go to pocketpa.com/podcast and let's get you on the way to earning more money and stressing much less. Have a great week, whatever you're doing.